Hi everyone, welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin, and today I have a special podcast for you that is inspired by something that happened during one of my yoga classes, which was from a very inspired and channeling space. Last Wednesday, I was teaching my class. It's Yoga Therapeutics and Sound Bath. And during that class, I teach body rolling, I teach restorative yoga, I mix in some yin. It's kind of like a mutt, like me. But I also incorporate harmonics and sounds and chanting. And so it was a really packed class. It was like, a sea of people, wall to wall. And I stood up so that I could see and connect with everyone. And as soon as I did, it's just, the wind was blowing to the east just right and the stars aligned. And I brought my palms together to heart center, which lately it feels like a magnet. Like my hands want to be in service and my heart, it just wants to give. And so I stood up, palms together, thumbs right between, right on my sternum. And I said, bring your palms together to heart center in Anjali Mudra. It's the mudra of offering, the mudra of love. And I said, I want you to think about the feeling you get when you know that somebody loves you. Just picture that image in your mind and feel it in your body. Create that feeling in your body. And I waited a little bit and I said, okay, now I want you to think of the feeling, not think, but think the thought, and then have the feeling of loving someone just as powerfully. So then, and I asked everybody to check in, and maybe as you're listening to this, and maybe you're doing this not while you're driving, but notice a little bit more electricity around the heart. For me, I know, like my hands are hot, like they are hot, and they weren't hot a second ago. So then I asked everyone to pause and notice, and then think of both at the same time. So being loved and loving at the same time. Woo! And then we held that energy and we chanted Om. And it was one of the most beautiful Oms I've ever heard. I modified this when Matt and I were doing a little meditation. I said, hey, can I show you this new technique I'm working on? He said, sure. And in the palms, once we cultivated that feeling of being love and loving very strongly, we imagine putting a seed of what we want to cultivate, manifest, what we want to grow in our lives. And just imagine that the love, giving and receiving, is sort of like the fertilizer that would help that seed to grow, right? Give it a strong foundation to grow. So the full technique is to bring your palms together to heart center, to come present with the feeling of your hands at heart center, and then to imagine being loved. Feel that through your body. And once that is pretty strong within you, then imagine loving someone very powerfully. And then imagine both at the same time. And once you have brought that to a pinnacle, then put your seed of your desire, of what you want to manifest, cultivate inside of your cupped hands, like you're planting a seed in the soil with so much love and care, just wanting your baby to grow. And then, I'll go ahead and do that part. And then Om. So we'll Om together. And you just let it go up to the cosmos. Whew, man, that made me hot. So that's a fun little technique. It's super quick. I've been using it so much just throughout the day. If I need a little boost, little energy charge, little jumper cables. So I hope that that's helpful for you. It's something that I think was channeled. I didn't I don't feel like I came up with that one necessarily. I feel like that was just channeled to me. I know that that sounds weird, and sometimes when people are like, oh, I had a download of like an angel, an archangel Michael like downloaded. I'm always a little sus about that because I think that, that can, if you're not grounded, it can get mixed in with your stuff, and then it can be kind of unpure and unclean. But I was definitely in a very grounded space. That's one of the reasons I love yoga so much, is because it grounds you into your body. Like, it's like, hey, remember, I'm here. So I hope that you enjoyed that little technique. This is just a quick one, just to give you some practical tool that you can use to bring yourself into a loving space. Real quick one, another application of this technique was, I was doing some couples coaching, which, by the way, Matt and I are taking on a few couples clients. If you and your partner are trying to work through some couples stuff, we have really come up with a great program we're going to launch probably in the next few months, but it's based on the relationship toolbox and a couple of other things, because we're always studying and evolving and collecting data, and we're such a good space, and we work so hard for it. But anyways, if you're interested in that, email me, Erin@erincoach.com. But I use this with one of my clients to bring him back into a loving space about his wife. And it was such a beautiful, you could just like feel the room change. You could feel his energy change and his eyes change, and just dropping in and remembering that deep love that he has for his wife. So it was a very beautiful application. So there's lots of ways that you can use this. Another one I'll just tack on, wanted this to be short, but is if there's someone that, has wronged you, that has hurt you, just imagine like cultivating those feelings and then sending it to them. That's another thing that you can do with the energy of your love. It's very powerful. You can chant with it, you can play with it, you can feel it in your body, you can send it to people, you can manifest. Like, it's really one of my most favorite new techniques. Simplicity sometimes wins and ease, because we're all busy, and, sometimes emotional bandwidth is like this big. So, I hope that you enjoy this technique. It's, I'll have to come up with a snappy title for the title of this podcast. It's freshy, it's brand new. But I hope that you enjoy it, and thank you. And it's my birthday week. So if you've been listening to this podcast, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I'm going to do a post of, please just share with me how I have changed your life in a positive way, or maybe a sweet interaction we've had. So if you enjoy this podcast, a wonderful birthday gift would just to be, send me an email and just say, hey, like, tell me who you are, how I've, impacted your life. I like to hear that, just to keep me motivated. I've been doing this podcast for 9 years. That's crazy. I'm running out of shit to talk about. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, shoot me an email, Erin@erincoach.com. And I hope you have a fantastic week. We still have 2 spots left for Costa Rica. I just released the itinerary. We updated our page. You can go to thriveyogafit.com and look underneath either retreats or YTT, because it's both. And you can see the updated itinerary of day A and day B. Day B, we're going to be doing everything from breaking down asana to listening to storytelling on the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, the Puranas, so some of the sacred scriptures, while sipping hot cocoa while watching the stars. This stuff, it sounds like a fairy tale. And the place that we're staying is just a giant mansion with a huge pool and a hot tub and a private chef. There's 18 of us going. So, if you want a yoga teacher training that is comprehensive, but it's also treat yourself, this is great. And the price really isn't bad if you consider the spot that we're staying at, and it's either a king or queen size bed. It's $4,200 or $4,500, and that includes the whole training with some online modules. So if you do the math, usually trainings are about $3,000 to $3,500 for in-person ones. So, and then if you consider the stay and your food, the only thing that's not included is dinner and your airfare. Transfers are included, and all the activities are included, which we're going to a volcano, we're going to a sloth sanctuary, and we're going to a hot springs water park. All right, I'm going to shut up. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening.
If you want to support the podcast and if it's helping you, please consider writing a review. You can go to iTunes or Google Play, go into the search bar and type in Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching, scroll down, and you can leave a review. This helps other people to find me as well as bumps us up in the search ratings. Also, this podcast is sponsor-free, so that means we don't receive anything for doing it. If you feel so inclined and this podcast is helping to support you and you want to return the favor and help to support any production costs of the podcast, feel free to give a donation to a Venmo link, Thrive Yoga Fit, or PayPal, Erin@erincoach.com. If you don't have the means, don't worry about it. We're not going anywhere. You're all good. But if you would like to give back, you can give back in those ways. Thank you so much. Namaste.